Hello fellow Pokemon fans, I'm Brascoin and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping in. I hope you enjoyed today's topic video because in the wake of the Pokemon Presents that we just received on February 27th, we have a lot of room to speculate and a lot of room to theorize as to what Pokemon Violet and Pokemon Scarlet have in store for us. Some YouTubers have already gone over them, but I want to present a little bit of a different take on some of these ideas that I've had running around in my head since we got the announcement. Now, before we really get into the meat of it, I want to say that if you haven't seen my previous video regarding why I think these games are in Spain, check it out in the card in the upper right hand corner there, and then return to this video because a lot of this information and a lot of these theories are going to be based or predicated upon these games taking place in the Spain region, and I give a lot of compelling arguments for why I believe these games will take place in Spain. Disclaimer out of the way, let's dive on into today's topics. And first and foremost is the theory that the last generation's mythical Pokemon somehow has a tie-in or predicts the region that the next Pokemon game is going to be coming out in. And that Pokemon, in this case, would be the mythical Pokemon Zarude. We had a movie about it, we had a few distribution announcements and events for that Pokemon. I covered a lot of them heavily on this channel last year when that was doing that. But Zarude is a jungle Pokemon. It's a monkey Pokemon. It travels in packs, and you might be asking yourself, what on earth can that possibly have to do with Spain? Spain isn't exactly a tropical area that's not very well known for monkeys, but throwing that up on screen here, we have a Wikipedia article. I know Wikipedia is not the most reliable source there is, but it is still a little bit of something regarding these monkeys. The Barbari macaques in Gibraltar, I'm slaughtering those names pronunciation, but the macaques in Gibraltar, originally from the Atlas Mountains and the Rif Mountains in Morocco, the Barbari macaque population in Gibraltar is the only wild monkey population in or on the European continent. The Gibraltar population is increasing. As of 2020, some 300 animals in 5 groups of monkeys, occupy the upper rock area of the Gibraltar Nature Reserve, though they make occasional forays into the town. If you happen to be a geography buff and you know where Gibraltar is, you'll know that it is on the Iberian Peninsula, which is Portugal and Spain, the area where we believe that these games are going to be taking place. So it just so happens that in the Iberian Peninsula, where we think these games might be taking place, there are a couple of famous monkey troops. Troops being basically a pack of monkeys, and here is some information regarding one notorious troop in the Gibraltar area. So, we have the Gibraltar macaques. They are considered to be a top tourist attraction in Gibraltar. The most popular troop among those is that of the Queen's Gate at the Ape's Den, where people can get especially close to the monkeys. They will often approach and sometimes even climb onto people as they are used to human interaction. Nevertheless, they are still wild animals and will bite if frightened or annoyed. Now, what does that have to do with Zarude? Well, if you're familiar with Dada Zarude, it has a very close affinity to the human Coco, even raises it as its own, so it's definitely got that human interaction element that we're looking for. It is still a wild animal, so that fits as well. It's also very close to human population, as shown in the movie Coco, not very far off. It's able to travel to town and back in less than a day, just like we see with this population of macaques monkeys. So that, I believe, is pretty close to confirmation. It's a theory still, but one that has a lot of merit at this point. Zarude being in Spain, that's the region that that Pokemon actually belongs to, teasing the Spain region. I think that has a lot of merit. Now, being that these games may be taking place in Spain, and just for the sake of argument, I'm going to say they are taking place in Spain and Portugal, as I am thoroughly on that camp. That leads us to some stories, some myths, some legends of Spain that we should cover and talk about for today's theories as well. And first and foremost, we have from Twitter. I have to thank A218 who posted on Twitter a few days back. Just remember that Junichi Masuda was in Portugal in 2016 for the Portugal Comic-Con. This is just after the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon. At 218 then begins to question, do you think he started to work on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with Shigeru Omori at this moment? Chances are, probably. because in this tweet, this picture that Atu references, it says when they were in Portugal, meaning Junichi Masuda and Shigeru Omura, thought that the rooster from Barcelos could make an interesting Pokemon. Will we see it in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? I am of the persuasion that yes, we will see this Pokemon for two reasons. The first and foremost is a legend, a historical story that we have, the story of the rooster of Barcelos. To quickly sum up that story, it says, legend has it that at the beginning of the 16th century, a crime had occurred in the small town of Barcelos. However, nothing was known about the culprit. This caused a lot of people to be alarmed, so they started looking for who it was. At that very moment, a Galician passed through the city, which raised a number of suspicions. No one knew the stranger, no one had ever seen him before. The only thing that the Galician could possibly say to his defense was that he was passing through on his pilgrimage route to Santiago de Compostela. Ignoring his justifications, the man was immediately charged with the crime and sent to the gallows. On the day of the trial, and in the presence of the judge and the entire population of Barcelos, the devout pilgrim said aloud, "It is as certain that I am innocent as it is certain that this rooster crows when I am hanged." Among laughter, the people looked around and saw a rooster on a platter, already served for the meal that was to follow. Without any explanation, at the very moment when the Galician was being hanged, the rooster came back to life, and everywhere the strong singing of the animal was heard. Soon the judge ordered to save the life of the Galician and let him continue on his way. The rooster of Barcelos gained such fame that it became one of the most represented figures of Portugal. That backstory mixed with the idea that Junichi Masuda and Shigeru Omura thought that this rooster would make an interesting Pokemon leads me to believe that we will at the very least see this Pokemon present in the game. However, I think that this may actually have something to do with the legendary. Now, legendary birds are extremely common throughout the Pokemon series. Now, I'm not thinking about this idea so much as a flying type Pokemon as it's a bird, but more as how you would see a typical rooster with its wings clipped, not really being a flying type. Could be a fire type, could be a fairy type, could be a number of things, but given the backstory we have with this, I think that if this Pokemon was to represent Portugal as a legendary Pokemon, as a Pokemon for the Scarlet side of things, I would think that this Pokemon would have something to do with resurrection or revitalizing of life, kind of similar to Xerneas, the creator of life in the Kalos region, but more specific to Spain. I think it's going to have something to do with resurrection or the restoration of life, given the story of this rooster bringing itself to life from a cooked rooster. I think it's entirely possible that this could be a legendary Pokemon. Now, what could be the legendary Pokemon for Spain as a counterpart to that? Because we all know that these Pokemon at least work in groups of 2, if not 3, as far as a legendary is concerned. A lot of people have thrown about that as Spain's most popular animal seems to be a bull, that we will get at least a bull Pokemon in the game somewhere. We have lots of fields and lots of room for it. But I'm personally thinking that Tauros would be deserving of some love here. Tauros getting a special regional evolution just for this area, that would be tremendous for me. It hasn't had an evolution. It's one of the very few Gen 1 Pokemon that still does not have an evolution, that really should, because everybody else has an evolution or pre-evolution. Jinx, Scyther at this point, Mr. Mime even, like everybody in that area is getting a pre-evolution or a post-evolution, so I think it's only fair that Tauros receives some love. So in that camp, I think that the bull would more likely be a legendary Pokemon, and it would be of the violet coloration, as opposed to some people presenting it to be the Scarlet personification there. The reason why I believe this is due to the colors associated with life and death. We have orange, yellow, life. We have purple, which is darker, which symbolizes nighttime, death, all those different things like that. It's a darker color, so I think that it could have something to do with death, which would be the opposition to the life-bringing qualities that the rooster would have. So I'm thinking that that very well could be what we're looking at here. When we take a look at the historical roots behind bullfighting, we see that it traces its roots back to prehistoric bull worship and sacrifice in the Mesopotamian and Mediterranean region. The first recorded bullfight may have been in the Epic of Gilgamesh, which describes a scene in which Gilgamesh and Enkidu fought and killed the bull of heaven. Now, when we compare that story to the story of the rooster, we have two contrasting stories, Scarlet and Violet, for life and death. We have a creature that once was dead in the rooster, resurrecting and becoming living again. We have the story of a heavenly bull, which was alive, ending its journey as a dead creature. I can see the Pokemon Company really contrasting those two stories and presenting them in an oppositional way here in the Pokemon series, here in the Pokemon games for Scarlet and Violet. Now, these theories could be entirely wrong, yet not baseless at all. There is a lot of evidence to support that these could be actual occurrences, or it could be nothing at all. Like I said, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, because I am hopping on the theory train. I do want to present a lot more theories about Pokemon as more information becomes available, and if you guys are into that, don't be afraid to subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. Let me know that you're interested in this content by commenting down below your thoughts and opinions on the information and theories presented. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Brascoin, and I'll catch you guys in a future video.